This strip of land along Interstate 44 in South St. Louis is on this day both a classroom and a laboratory. The students are from Melanphy and St. Margaret of Scotland schools. They're teachers, they're real scientists from the University of Missouri St. Louis. And the lesson today is insects, particularly bees.
As they're flying, they actually do all of their legs across their bodies, just like that.
They're answering questions and sharing what they know, but they are also sharing what they don't know about a particular kind of bee, the solitary bee.
We actually don't know very much about those bees because they're kind of hard to study. And one thing that makes them hard to study is finding those nests.
Professor Aimee Dunlop and PhD candidate George Todd are about to put these kids to work, sending them to search for little holes in the ground that are entries to the bee nests. So this is more than just a classroom activity. Yes, the kids, they're going to learn a lot, but so will the scientists.
So we're going to be looking at how bees are behaving next to highways, which is not studied at all anywhere.
This strip of land along the interstate will be the focus of a multi-year study of country bees and city bees. We've been to Professor Dunlop's UMSL lab before. She's an expert in bee behavior and bee cognition. So explain to me what you mean by cognition.
Yeah, so for a long time, people thought that animals were just instinctual beings. They would respond to a stimulus and they would have this innate response that they would do. So they were basically like little robots going around in the world. Now what we are finding out is that insects have sophisticated cognition that people never guessed about. Bees have cultural transmission. This is something we thought about for decades as only primates or dolphins or whales. You know, there are no limits to what a small insect brain is capable in terms of problem solving.
So perhaps a different environment would necessitate different behaviors, and that's what they want to find out.
And they might not be using the space in a normal way because there's a lot of noise from the highway, there's a lot of vibrations from the highway, and there are also a lot of fine particulate matter. There's pollution from a highway. And so what we're doing here is we're going to be looking at how the bees are using the space and how the bees are behaving on the flowers, and how does that differ from similar plantings that are not next to the highway. What kind of food are they getting?
One of the partners in all of this is the Greenhouse Venture Organization, which offers local schools programs focusing on bioscience and urban agriculture. And it has plans to build its own educational center across from the embankment greenway it developed, which is the focus of the bee study. And as this study progresses, the students will continue to be a part of it, based on the bee nests they help identify.
So we're going to put cameras, GoPro cameras on them, and we'll be able to get very detailed images which they can take in their classroom, and they can help identify some of the pollen that's on the bees from those high-resolution camera images.
So they're not just here as a class activity, they're contributing to this study.
Yes.
And they've shown that bumblebees.
And for many of the kids, this was really an introductory class, but it was taught by scientists who brought their knowledge and their enthusiasm.
Well, she was just teaching us about the pollinators and the hummingbirds and other insects that she was showing us. It was a really great experience.
Plus, you're not sitting in a class, you're sitting outside on a nice day. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Little seeds.
But back to the study. Why do we care about city bees? Well, in part because of the growing urban agriculture movement, supplying fresh vegetables and fruit. Urban farms dependent on urban pollinators that have to adapt to and thrive in an urban environment.
We're losing insect populations, and we need habitat wherever we can get it. So habitat next to highways is something that a number of people have zeroed in on as something that we can plant up native plants. It doesn't have to be mowed as much. It can be a win-win for everyone.
And if you include the possible impact on and the possible contributions of these students,
Radar device.
Win-win-win.
That's what we're going to do. How would you find a nest? What's the best way you think?
For Living St. Louis, I'm Jim Kircher.